President Trump has reportedly completed the interview process for the Supreme Court candidates. He's reportedly interviewed 6 people: appeals court judges Brett Kavanaugh, Raymond Kethledge, and Amy Coney Barrett, Amol Thapar, Joan Larson, and Thomas Hardiman. The president reportedly talked to 5 of the candidates at one time, and he spoke to one of them twice. Multiple sources are indicating Kavanaugh and Kethledge and Barrett are the leading contenders. Joining us now with more on the candidates and his attorney, Vikas Bajaj. Vic, thanks for being with us. Before we break down the candidates specifically, there's a lot of talk about overturning Roe v. Wade. How likely is that to happen if one of the president's conservative contenders is selected or confirmed on the Supreme Court?
As phrased, I would say unlikely. We use this phrase overturned quite casually and frequently, and we have sort of a fatalistic end-of-day look towards Supreme Court appointees. Will it reverse or overturn case precedent or things that have been found by the law of the land to be the law of the land? Roe v. Wade is a controversial decision for many reasons. Number one, it impinges upon an individual's liberty. Because of that, it falls within the reins of the federal jurisdiction. To answer your question, as you phrased it, will it be overturned? I would say no. Will it be curtailed and catered to a more conservative outlook? I believe the answer is yes. And the reason is it's very difficult to overturn precedent. Some of the top contenders that you just described, Kavanaugh, for instance, even Mrs. Barrett said, well, you know what, in a paper she wrote, you can't overturn precedent. There are important decisions as well that will not be overturned, in my opinion, but will be clarified, such as affirmative action. In a very close split during the last term, the United States Supreme Court had a difficult time, it seemed. And with the help of Justice Kennedy, the race was allowed to be used in admissions policies, whether it's pro or against. Now, we have a number of cases that are working their way up through the appellate courts and the circuit courts to the United States Supreme Court. For instance, an Asian American candidate and an applicant was denied despite being qualified, overly qualified for admissions into Harvard. So you can see a lot of these monumental decisions that will be decided in a way, shape, or form, but I caution everyone to not be so fatalistic. It's not a change of the world. It's catering the law towards our modern and current way of legislating.
Well, let's look at the short list. The top 3, as we mentioned, Brett Kavanaugh, Raymond Kethledge, and Amy Coney Barrett.
Yes.
What can you tell us about each of those? What stands out?
Well, I believe President Trump will have to select someone who is as, how can we say, unconflicted as the others. We know this is going to be a partisan debate. This is going to be a fight in confirmation proceedings. We have 51 on the Republican side, 49 with the absentee of the Arizona Republican senator, of course. So it's tight. So the less conflicted candidates come to mind, the more experienced candidates come to mind. Unfortunately, I believe Mrs. Barrett is very conflicted as far as going through the confirmation process. She has been very publicly a devout Roman Catholic with her stance on a woman's right to exert her right regarding abortion. That will be a problem, I believe, for a smooth confirmation process. Now, Judge Kavanaugh, in 12 years on the D.C. Court of Appeals, which many believe to be the most powerful court next to the United States Supreme Court, has issued no less than 300 opinions in 12 years. So he's very active. You can track sort of where he is on the left or the right for new current decisions, and he's quite experienced. So I would believe that the race really would come down to Kavanaugh either being at that finish line in number 1 or in number 2, but highly qualified candidates the entire way around.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for dropping by and giving us some input on the decision. I guess by this time next week we'll know.
Well, hopefully, yes. Thank you.
It will be an interesting fall for
That's
sure.
Right. That's right.